This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Are you still cutting your own grass? Are you still trying to get your landscaping to look perfect on your own? That sounds sweaty. That sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a job for Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Family owned and operated, Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services, located on Kern Street in Exeter near Blue Ribbon Dairy, has the quality and experience to get your yard looking its best. The Garden Center offers plants, trees, sod, mulch, rocks, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, and much more, while the Lawn and Landscaping Services offers mowing, trimming, planting, and full landscaping. Visit them on their social media pages for more info. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. Welcome to the PopGo Project Podcast, a platform for the discussion and discovery of arts and entertainment. We focus on highlighting people and events that add value to the world around us. Visit us on all social media platforms by searching the PopGo Project, or visit our website at thepopgoproject.com. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening. That's boring, Ryan.
I don't want to talk about it.
I can't. Are you sobering up? Are you drying
Are you
out?
talking about? Are you talking about the water,
Yeah, I mean, I came prepared to drink tonight.
dude? No, I drink too much soda, so this gives me my fix of bubble, but gives me the ability of water.
There's no booze in there, though.
No, I mean I have a white. Do you want me to go get a White Claw? Or should I go borrow one from you?
Borrow. I have some White Claw. Come on over.
Dude,
I don't know.
This podcast just swapped, and I just left and came up to your
Yeah,
house.
that'd be
and joined
funny.
That would be funny.
I don't know why you're not here doing it. We could have been on the same
Neither do
screen.
I, dude. I get
Ed.
stuck. Yeah, we'll ask Ed questions.
Well,
That's
you
how
know
it
what?
should be.
Well, I've got Ed and Ryan from the band The University Drive, and I came tonight with an award for Ryan, who is has appeared the most times on the PopGo Project podcast. This is number 3. Virtually, I have for you a Stegmeyer Summer Stock Lager. I think this is from like 2006.
Dude, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I just want to thank my dad for giving me the opportunity to be on Paco Project up to 3 times.
I'd like
I
to
made a
thank
joke to
Dad,
Ed.
too.
I never understand. Like, everybody makes jokes that you're like, oh, you do so many bands and stuff. And then once I get the Stegmeyer 2006 award from you, it kind of really sets in that, I'm doing it. So
This is real. This is real life.
man.
Real shit.
You're a pioneer. You're on your way to the top.
Thanks, man.
It'll be here for you, very warm. This bottle has probably been with me my Wilkes-Barre apartment, my house in Pringles. This is probably the 4th location. This probably moved with me for 4 different times.
Johnny, can I stop you right there? I'm starting to think that this is a gift is less special.
This is
It
aged.
sounds like you didn't want it 4 times.
This is aged. I mean,
It's skunked is what it is. It's not.
we don't know that. We
It's
don't know
bad.
that. We don't know that.
We
Congratulations.
don't know that. I'll have to drink it.
Congratulations. Here's your
Thanks,
skunk
Ed.
beer.
I don't know, man. But how you guys doing?
Great. Excellent.
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I had a bit of a health scare
Oh,
recently.
no.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, so I had this spot in the back of my head that kept flaring up every like 3 or 4 months. And it was always like around the time I would go to the barber. So it was like this, it's like really red and like it felt like a under the skin pimple almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it kept flaring up, and it's very, very painful. I kept dealing with it for like 2.5 years, and I got to the point where I'm like, maybe it's something going on, right? So you go on Google and you basically read you're going to die. But I saw that it might be a cyst. So I'm like, maybe I'll just have it looked at. You can get those removed. And why continue with this pain every 3 or 4 months? So I go to the doctor and I thought it was just going to be like a consult, like let's take a look at it, blah blah blah. So I guess there's like a mole on the site of where this flare up is. And he goes, this mole might be a little weird. Let's take it off. Let's have a look. And I'm like, right now? He said, well, I mean, you can do it now or you can wait. And I'm like, I don't know if you guys ever try to get into a dermatologist, but it's a nightmare.
Forever.
It might be another year. So I'm like, well, I'm here. Might as well do it now.
Right.
So he takes the mole off, and about 4 days later, a few days ago, he calls me. The doctor calls me himself. The doctor who performed the procedure called me himself. At that point, I'm already like, oh, I'm fucking dead.
Oh, easy.
The doctor's never
I
called
would
me.
have started writing my will. No.
Yep, same.
Then he goes, he goes, is this John? I said, yeah. He goes, this is Dr. So-and-so. Do you have a minute to talk? I'm like, oh, fuck. I said, yeah, I'm here. What's up? He goes, well, the good news is, and I'm like, fuck, I'm done. He's saying the good news is, and that implies that there's bad news to follow. So the good news is the mole's nothing, blah, blah, blah. I guess the bad news was that he didn't know what was causing the flare up. So he prescribed some kind of a topical, thing, and no big deal. But for a minute there,
Oh, so you're good. Okay.
You're
as far
okay.
as I know, the mole's fine. It's not cancerous. But all those things, the fact that he called me directly, do you have a minute to talk? Well, the good news is, I'm dead.
Terrifying. That sounds terrifying.
I'm dead. I went for, just to have a look, and now I'm going to die. But no, I'm fine.
I'm happy you're not dead.
Same.
And then today I got fondled by a different doctor.
That's cool.
I don't like the way you word.
Yeah, he. I was being evaluated for a vasectomy.
Mm.
Ooh!
Yeah, I'm done. No more kids. But so yeah, that was the first time that's happened in a long time.
It's funny, not to take this in a medical route right off the bat, but I got tested for Crohn's once.
Yeah.
It's in the family. My stomach's garbage. Ed could attest to it. And I go and get tested. I do the whole colonoscopy, which, by the way, the procedure is not nearly as bad as the liquid death that flies out of your body whatever that is, pre-procedure. So they get me tested. I go to my doctor afterwards for the checkup, right? And I shit you not, this is how it went down. My doctor walks in with let's just say it's this, right? He walks in and goes, Ryan, right? All right. Let's see here. For Crohn's, right? And he backs out to the alley. He goes, Veronica, did Ryan? I don't think so. To this day, that is the answer I have for if I have Crohn's or not.
You didn't say, "Hey, guy, doc,
Nope.
what's up?"
I was freshly 21, and I kind of didn't want to know the answer anyway. It's not even like it's going to affect my life in the sense that I would just fix it then my problem would be fixed. I don't know. I just accepted it. I went, well, take that as a big W.
Well, it goes along the lines of with the COVID, if you don't test, you can't test positive. So fuck it.
There it is.
Yeah.
If you don't get an answer
I can't poop solid.
Well, yeah, but if you don't get the answer that you have it, then you don't have it.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Words to live by.
So don't go to the doctor. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. All the good stuff.
Man.
Well, guys, thank you very much for doing this. It's been a long time coming, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I only see Ryan when we do these podcasts, and he lives a street over.
That's so funny.
It is funny.
That's the only reason I'm allowed to do these podcasts so often is because I live so close. I actually steal off his Wi-Fi. That's why we get such a good connection.
Well, you said you were gonna shovel my driveway and then cut my lawn, and you did neither of those.
I'm just upset you keep believing me.
He's running all the time. He'd be doing it.
Yeah, I just, I've told him a lot of things, Ed, and clearly I use it for leverage. I get on the show and then I don't do the thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I was trying for you, right?
He's bad at leveraging. He gives me what I want before I do the thing, so I never have to do the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'm not
You're
gonna lie.
bad at business. I'll say it. I did it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you doing this for me is better for me than it is for you. Let's think about
Listen,
it.
however you want. You got me at a weird point in the night too, dude. I feel like I'm like half awake, so I'm gonna start slamming this aha.
Is that
Get that
caffeinated aha?
show.
Because they make that.
Well, it has 0 calories, so that's sick.
Good.
0 added sugar. There's a big 0 on there. Can we read this can?
It's
Jack,
all
it's the
zeros.
team to
Lot of
zoom in.
zeros.
All zeros.
It's just going ooh.
You know, ooh, aha. You know, I was thinking the other day about drinking beer and how we consume it, right? And then people like throughout a day or even an evening can, finish 6, 12, some people a case, whatever. And I start thinking like, there's nothing else in the world that I would drink as much of as I do beer. Like, I'm not going home and drinking a 6-pack of Diet Coke. But I'll have a 6-pack of beer if I'm like camping in the woods, right?
I'm gonna throw something in your court, and Ed, I think you would agree.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this 6-pack of soda is way more up Ed and I's alley than a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah. I'm the guy that like just to put in perspective, I very seldomly drink. Like at a show, I think Ryan is literally the same as me. Like if we're playing a show, we'll probably walk around with 1 beer, maybe 2 beers for 6 hours, But when I get home, I'm like, or on my way home, I'm like, well, I think I should get a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper. I'm gonna party tonight. I'm excited for my sugar rush of Dr. Pepper at 35.
Wow.
Crazy.
I feel like the beer at that point, it's like I guess I got to do this to fit in. And then after Ed and I leave the show, we're like, "Do you want the Coke from McDonald's?"
You guys are getting
Just, like,
lame.
run over and grab it.
I can't do it.
There's not even old age. I just suck.
I just was at a practice for Dance Hall Devils, and I had a Miller High Life. I very seldomly drink, and I literally had to run away, like leave practice 10 minutes early because I said, guys, I am about to shit right in my pants. Now that's not some unique thing, but the speed in which that it came on was very unique, and I am totally blaming it all on the High Life. So,
Wait, I guess you and Ryan do share a similar stomach because Ryan plays a game. Can I make it home?
You remembered?
Of course, I remember. I forget which one that was. That with the Robinsonade, or was that with?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I have lost that game.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah, same. Multiple.
I make it home?
I've been playing that game for 30 years.
It's funny because Ed and I had to learn how to play Can I Make It Home? But it was like, can I make it to the next gas station when we did the tour? Because we were just like, especially when we got to Las Vegas, dude, it was that or you found like something. We were really good. I think we were really good. Our diets were pretty all right too. So like we were doing okay.
Oddly enough.
Well, you mentioned tour.
I think it was the diet of not eating.
Yep.
That helps. Yeah. Nothing can come out if nothing goes in.
Exactly.
Hashtag truth.
Right. There you go. But no, you mentioned tour. So like you guys are kind of fresh off of tour, maybe like 6 weeks or so.
Something like that.
You were out with Cold for the second time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you were out there with them in 2019, I want to say, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
That was kind of in support or around the time that you released the album Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Cool. So pretty great opportunity, right? Being out with a nationally known rock band whose fans are insane, and I don't mean insane in a bad way. They're just passionate fans.
Super dedicated.
Yeah.
Actually, when I had Scooter on a month or two ago, I actually got into a back and forth with a fan. Just that's how passionate they are. They like if you misspeak, and I didn't even misspeak to a degree, but he let me know that I was half wrong, and then we got into a whole another thing. But
right,
that was a good interview, by the way. I listened to the whole thing. It was a fun time.
Super sweet. He said a lot of really sweet things about the band, and you got both.
Yeah, which was surprising.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I don't think he would have asked you guys to come out for a second time if he didn't believe in what you guys do. So,
no.
But I mean,
I think it's a lack of confidence on my own accord to be like, oh, well, that's really nice. I can't believe you said that. You know what I mean? Like, not because he's a sweetheart. So like, it's not unbeknownst to me that he would say something sweet. It's just weird hearing it out of his mouth because it'd be one thing if he said the band, but he said my name.
Oh, you directly. Wow. Okay.
He said everybody's name. So I was like, well, that's kind of crazy.
He knows your name.
Well, yeah. And I was a Cold fan before we did this.
Yeah.
Like
so
What was that like? I mean, a huge fan of the band and you're going to go on tour with them. What was that like? Well, the crazy thing about this whole scenario is my whole way that I even got into this position was Ed sent me a text. Basically, it was the most, I don't know if you remember, Ed, but it wasn't, do you want to do a national tour?
I remember.
Ed said, like, hey, man, I got this opportunity, but Johnny can't do it. Do you think you might be able to play a show with us? Like, what do you think about playing a show? And I was like, yeah. And in my head, I remember I was in my room. I was like, dude, I get to play. I'll probably play the keys with like You Drive. I love You Drive. It's one of my favorite bands. And that year I had been filling in for a lot of people. Like I did Permanence, Black Hole Heart. Like I was doing a lot of things. So it was like, oh, cool. He noticed I was filling in. I'll do it. And then he goes, okay, it's this. And the second test message was like, you had to scroll through the dates too. Because originally too, there was more dates on the thing that ended up not being able played. It was 3 whole months. I was like, I go, give me 2 minutes. And I literally just flipped the phone over. Went, yeah, I could do it. And then I figured it out afterwards, basically being like, I'm going to go talk to my job and hope they don't fire me.
Right. So you did the old
even at that though, I knew me and you have discussed our early 2000s love of rock about each time I've been on
every
this podcast.
Time,
yeah. So, but that is one of the bands, man. I mean, I found them because Aaron Lewis did a song with Scooter. I think it's Bleed, and that's how I found out who Cold was because I was a big Stain fan. You know what I mean? So like my brain shut off when I got the opportunity. I felt like I hit it pretty well from everybody because I didn't let, you can't let all the cards fly out of the bag too early.
Right. You pull the old sales guy routine. Like if a guy says like, can you have a meeting with me this day? You kind of got to like pretend to go through your calendar and be like, oh, I'm kind of busy. I could probably fit you in maybe.
I was like, oh, yeah.
I could do it.
What did he just fucking say to me? Yeah, and then it's funny. I'm actually curious as to Ed's perspective on even asking because I know again, I'm not putting myself down in this position, but I know that other people had gotten asked, and then like it ended up like I was one of the people that ended up getting asked. So I want to just kind of even get Ed's whole position on it.
Well, how it started was like I had the same exact reaction that you did when I got that first initial message of, hey, do you guys want to open? Nick Coyle got at me and he's like, how do you guys feel about opening a tour, like, going on tour with Cold? And I was like, what the fuck? Like that blew my mind. Because like Ryan, like I was also a fan of Cold growing up. And the way I became a fan of them was because everybody in Scranton knows that I'm a huge Weezer fan. And I remember I saw their music video, or I'd heard their song come on in like a grocery store, something like that. And immediately like recognized like the Weezer feel that's ingested in that song musically. And I was like, well, that's fucking awesome. And I later found out that Rivers had co-written the song with Scooter. So
Yeah,
you know,
Stupid Girl.
yeah. So
And I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry, but like
no.
going back to what I got in a back and forth with one of the fans was about that. Because I was pre-promoting the podcast and I said, hey, if you want to ask Scooter anything, here's your chance. And, it's the guy who brought you song X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And he's like, well, he didn't write Stupid Girl, just so you know. I'm like, well, halfway.
I mean, from as far as every conversation that he and I have had about that song, because we talked about it a lot, because we both are huge, supporters of Weezer's first record, the Blue Album. It was a collaboration. From what I understand, and if Scooter comes back on, I'm sure he would correct me if I'm wrong. But from what he has told me, is that they had the music to that song, and I believe he had the chorus, the She's Going Away part, but he couldn't figure out melodically where to take it in the verse, or just wanted to try something. And he got it Rivers, who he was a huge fan of, and then Rivers helped a lot with the verses, and the bridge was like a collaboration. So I mean, yeah, they wrote it. It was a collaboration,
Yeah.
What I understand from what he's told me. So
that's what he told me too. Yeah. So, but sorry to cut you off. But yeah, so you're a fan because
yeah. And you better be sorry that you cut me off. Anyway, no, what's it called?
I am.
So I hear that tune in the grocery store or whatever. I read eventually Rivers, blah, blah, blah. I become, end up falling in love with the Year of the Spider record. And, they're just a band that I really liked. And to get that message was just fucking mind blowing. So I, went right to the band. I was like, dudes, hey, we've got this opportunity to go on tour. And I mean, this is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. To go on. I mean, I've toured my whole life as far as getting in a van or getting in an SUV with 3 other dudes and going and playing your, shitty VFWs and your delis and your bars and whatnot, and your art spaces, but never had an opportunity hey, come and play these legit club dates essentially. So immediately I went to the band, and immediately there were reservations from certain, Johnny was worried about time that he'd be able to do. He had a lot of stuff going on. Everybody had their certain things that they couldn't do. So I think the first person I reached out to, if I remember correctly, was James Barrett, actually. And I was like, yo, would you be interested? Just because I knew James for so long, So he's the first person I asked, and I don't know, I've got this going on, I got that going on. And immediately I was like, I wonder about that Ryan Grutt dude, because everywhere at that time, every show I would go see or every show I would play, it'd be like, oh, here's Permanence, but Ryan Grutt's playing bass, or oh, here's there's Alma Mater, or oh, there's this band, like you said, Black Hole Heart, and oh, Ryan's up there fucking singing a part or playing, and he's at every local show singing and supporting all the bands. And I said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And in my head, me and Ryan weren't we were acquaintances and kind to each other, but we weren't now we're bros, but at that point I didn't know what he was going to say. So I was pleasantly surprised when he was all about it. And now, Ryan has become a vital, extremely important part to the equation of the University Drive. If Ryan tomorrow decides to go, then I'm in deep shit.
Yeah.
So. No, it's funny. I legitimately didn't know how it got to the point of me, I guess. You know what I mean? I always thought you just kind of got a hat, right? And you were like, all right, kids that look like they should have been extras in Twilight. And then you're like,
and one last thing I forgot, just because I need to say it. I did ask Matt Meng too. Matt Meng from the Weezer tribute band, No Memories, and he wanted to do it, but the timing was all fucked up. So
it was a lot of time.
Basically, what you're saying is Ryan was the 5th, 6th, 7th choice.
Exactly, he was 10th or 11th or 50th or 52nd, but he did the best he could, and he keeps doing the best he could. So we'll get there eventually.
I was the only one that said yes.
Yeah.
Will you take this rose?
And I took it hard.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
next question. I fucked up that answer.
Well, and you mentioned this is an opportunity that comes your way unexpected. You have jobs and you're worried about what do I do? Like, how did that play out? I mean, Ryan, you mentioned, will I have a job? Like, are you still with that job? Did you say it doesn't fucking matter? Like, I'm doing this. And Ed, how about you?
Hey, go ahead.
Well, for me, I am lucky enough to where the company I work for, I do, painting and drywall kind of work. And I've been relatively blessed with a boss who is just incredibly supportive of it and is cool with me, kind of taking my time. I just give him a heads up, and he was really great about it. And same thing with this last tour. He was really great about it. But I also made it extremely clear to everybody involved, and this is, no skin off anybody's back, but I was very much like, I told the band this. I was like, I don't know, what you guys are doing, but I'm going on tour. Like, this is the whole point. This is what I've been trying to do, is to have a platform to be able to kind of bring this music that I've been trying for years and working at for years to a bigger audience. So there's no way in hell that anything was going to stop me from doing it. And if I did happen to lose my job, I'd just have to figure it out and get another job or go work solo or something, this is what I'm trying to do. Even at 35, like, this is what I love to do. So.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, there's certain moments in people's lives, you're presented an opportunity and it's like, you don't know if that's going to be the thing that takes you to the next level. But if you don't take it, you'll never know. I mean,
exactly.
It's funny. It's funny how that stuff kind of works out. It's like, I'm glad that you were like, I'm going regardless. I'm glad it worked out that you had people that, you can take with you.
I'm really grateful and lucky to have had people throughout, from the beginning, but between the 2019 tour and this last tour, like, everybody who's been involved, past and present, like, I'm really grateful for everything that they brought and the ability, the willingness to make it happen, or at least try to make it happen, because it is really important to me. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in, like, this is, as far as I know, this is the one shot, one round we get, so I can't let an opportunity like that just glide by because it might be scary,
yeah,
life is scary. Sometimes you got to try some shit. And I'm super grateful we did, because I don't know, it seems like we have made a lot of progress as far as with Cold's fan base, and a lot of them welcomed us with open arms. So, I'm super grateful.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, this area, I mean, I think you guys were very, like, how do I say this? It was a big win for us too. Like, as much as it was for, an opportunity for you, is like, we've had, bands like Breaking Benjamin and the Menzingers, and I'm going to fucking forget an important one along the way, but you get what I'm saying. And it's been a minute since, one of the local bands has kind of had an opportunity like you had. So I remember when that was a big deal in 2019 that you had that opportunity.
Crazy.
Yeah. So obviously, go ahead.
I was going to say, it was definitely something that took me by surprise too. Cause I mean, I remember having a conversation with Ed. I was only 22 when I went out and did that. And I had only done my first tour, I think, like the in January that year, doing, like, I filled in for somebody. We got in a van and we went out and did some things. And so I remember telling Ed when we were driving, because I kind of got to know him as we did the drives. Ed and I we always stayed up late. It was always Ed and I usually staying up late driving. And I remember saying I felt like I skipped. Like you feel like you skip steps, even though you're working here to do this. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I didn't play shows all the time and go and do X, Y, and Z. But it just felt like it was like I shouldn't be playing these shows yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like it felt weird. Because the first round of shows, dude, I got to play. I always went to shows at Chameleon Club. I cried that night. We got to play that venue and it was packed. It was so packed for that show.
Crazy.
Because they have 2 sets of balconies. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, it was like there's one that's kind of like if you're standing on the stage, the balcony's feet, like their feet would be like level with your head. So there's that
Right.
first one, and there's one that goes up even higher, and it was filled out all the way. And I was like, oh my God, I sunk in that whole show. And and at that point I wasn't in the band. So I was just like living up every experience I could. Like I just was very happy I got to go play music in a band that I really like. And like, I ended up becoming friends with everybody in the fucking group. So, but yeah, it was crazy, and it really did. It changed my life in a way, not in a way of being like, oh, yeah, like I'm in my parents' office right now doing an interview, but it changed my life in perspective of what I want to do. Because when you actually go out and get a chance to go do something, I could have hated it. I could have had this dream my whole life, and I could have despised it.
Yeah.
And it does suck at points to go out and do stuff, but like I love it so much that I'll deal with sleeping outside of the Wendy's in Las Vegas to get some sleep. You know what I mean? Like
I'll still get Wendy's. Still get Wendy's.
He can still get Wendy's, Ed. But yeah, no, it was such a cool time. Such a cool time. It was right before the pandemic, so everything was like, I don't know. It was like a super freeing time. Like we got to do so much. I got to go play. I never was in LA, and the first time I was with LA was with Ed, and that was the first time you were on a plane.
It was crazy. It's crazy.
So it's regardless, whatever happened after the fact, it was just a great opportunity, great experience. And then obviously, 6 months to whatever it was later, the pandemic hits. It's like, talk about taking the wind out of the sails. Like you guys come off this tour, you're kind of like energized, motivated. Let's fucking go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what a kick in the fucking teeth that was.
Kicking the balls.
What did you guys? I mean, how did you guys kind of react to all that? Especially coming off of such a cool opportunity like touring with Kolb.
I mean, I know personally, like right when it had happened, I was like, I guess cynically just being like, of course that would happen. Like, of course, like it would finally happen. And then the whole world would literally shut down, I don't know, Orion's doing some parkour or something right now.
I'm not doing this is so dumb. I had to get a drink. I just
Another
this candle.
Yeah,
do you hold on?
Oh, you know how you're rich when you have a second fridge in the garage.
That's right. That's how you know.
Get away from me.
Ooh, here we go.
It's a
let's
White
go.
Claw for you, Johnny.
White Claw. Let's go, baby.
Someone's gonna be shitting all night.
Ed saw me unfortunately on Saturday, and I had a rough Sunday because I drank like 2 packs of these.
Yep.
But you were saying it. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No. I had to comment on it. Yeah. I mean, it was an enormous kick. Fuck, man. Like, of course that would happen. And I mean, I definitely like had a little bit of depression going on, like in the first month or so, like going on or two, and But okay, so earlier when we had gotten back initially, we had met up with Paul from 8 Days a Week, where we just recorded the record, and we just had a meeting with him discussing the idea of like in the future working on something. We said, oh, maybe we could do this, or maybe we do that. Went down to Northumberland where his studio's at, hung out. Me and our old drummer Steve went down there together, and then did another meeting and decided, okay, we'll do a project. So when we had gotten back and we had that meeting and whatnot, kind of had some loose plans, and we said, well, all right, let's go book a session. All right, just for the fuck of it. And like before we even book a session, like that shit hits, you know what I mean? So immediately there's the depression. Immediately there's the like, what the fuck's going to happen? And every time we would try to like set up another date, like the restrictions would get tighter and everything. And I also felt like Clear took such a hit because even though we just had all this promotion by going out for 23 dates and doing this tour, it was like, okay, now all that's left is online promotion because we can't play shows, you know? So I just focused big time on writing songs because we had, we set up a situation where we could be at that studio as often as possible. And once it was safe, obviously, but I made it a point. I was like, I'm not going down there with like 11 songs and saying like, this is the best I could do, guys. Let's record them. And, if half the record sucks, like, oopsie doopsie, like that's not what I made it a point. So that whole time during the pandemic, which Ryan will attest to, is all I did was just demo songs until we had like a ridiculous amount of songs.
The number, by the way, is I believe it's between 50 to 65 demos that are in a Dropbox folder, not from anybody else but Ed. It's not a voice memo and like, and just like strumming a guitar. It is a full-fledged demo.
It's crazy.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So he has all of these demos, and at first, I'm still not really in the band.
Right, that's right.
Like at this point, I'm still like post-tour. I'm not in the band. It's kind of in the air, and everything's in the air because the whole reason I was doing something is because somebody else was there. You know what I mean? But it just kind of got even crazier with the pandemic, because then you get variations of, dude, it just nothing felt right. Nothing felt good. Nothing felt safe. And I ended up getting a call from Ed, and then we ended up just talking. I went to the studio, and I started going to the studio more. And then it ended up, Ed, I think I was with you from November of 2020 till whenever we finished the record. And I would go every Saturday. Every Saturday, Ed would pick me up at like 8-10 in the morning. We would go.
Yeah. Which was like, I was just going to say, it was just awesome for me because I was so used to, with every other record, like, the band being there for, if there was a band, the band being there for like 1 or 2 sessions, and then it just being a solo ride, essentially, so to have all of a sudden have Grunt with me, like, and have somebody else, like, in the beginning, it started off like it was Steve, me, and Paul. And then Steve kind of, removed himself from the project for a while. And then it was just me. And then there was a point where Angelo was coming here and there, and Angelo was living a crazy life at the time and was working so many hours. And he was, God bless him, he was there like totally sleep deprived when he could be. But, when Ryan, I was like, hey, you want to come down? And then it started to be like, okay, every time I go down, except when he absolutely couldn't do it, like Ryan was there every step of the way until the very, very end.
I don't think people appreciate how much goes into all of it. Like,
definitely right.
Working day jobs and working, maybe it's multiple jobs and doing band practice and writing music and trying to get on the same schedule as, if not everyone, at least one person, so you can make something happen. Like, It sounds like you guys really, like, nothing that you guys have earned like came easy. You earned every part of your journey so far.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of we always made this joke about getting punched in the face, like we're the best punching bag.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because like it seems like anytime something starts going in some sort of upward direction, that we're like a little group of problem solvers, because there's always a problem. There's always something we have to deal with, but all of us are pretty like, you've talked to Angelo. Angelo's like this little ball of energy and happiness. So you're like, oh God, dude, I don't know what we're gonna do. It's like, it's okay, man. And you're like, it is okay, Ange. Thanks, man. And then like, we always have to, figure something out, especially doing the record. It's just been it's been such a crazy 2 years in general. You know what I mean? From playing that show at the arena and having to learn how to play in front of cars that are honking at you instead of clapping, which was fun.
It
That was a fun show. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then, we go back out, and then the second time we go back out, we're direct support. It's a completely different slot than what you're originally doing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
We were the first band.
I wanted to ask you, like, how was, you go back out in 2022 with Cold. How, I mean, I have an idea of how, I was going to ask you, how was it different in 2022 compared to 2019? And I think there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, as far as like Ryan was saying, first off, we had that direct support slot, which is fucking insanity. And again, so grateful. So we were playing a lot of these shows and, bringing our A game, and it felt, it just the vibe felt different straight off, like right when we got out there. And a lot of people kind of knew us though now too, from the 2019 tour, from the Clear record circulating. And again, not like everywhere we went people knew, but there were some shows, like we went down that Love Drafts in Harrisburg, and this blew my fucking mind. There was this kid, there's a picture of him somewhere on Instagram, and he has headphones on. And I don't know how old would you say that kid was?
Oh, that young kid.
I think he's 5. Yeah, I think he's 5.
5, 6 years old. And I apologize to his parents if I'm getting his age wrong. But he was singing like the lyrics to Ending and Execution and a bunch of the
custom Execution shirt.
Yeah, because his parents made like these shirts because they were Cold fans and they were also University Drive fans. And he came up to me afterwards and at the merch table and was saying like all these, like it was super fucked up. It was for me to see that because I remember being that kid at the show, like when I saw, Ozmo when I was a kid, or in any, name every band that I've seen, but to see that, like just that coming out of that kid was unreal. So that something like that right off the bat was super inspiring. But along the lines too, like it was difficult though too, because we were traveling in my SUV with a trailer. So we're driving. Where before we did, like a week, then we'd come home for a couple days, or we do 2 weeks, then we'd be home for a week, and then fly out for a week to go play 2 shows or something in California. This time, you're going out and you're playing like 40 dates essentially. So that was a bit of a learning curve as far as like figuring out how to make it work. And there were a lot of, issues along the way and problems, but the one big takeaway that I had through the whole process was, and this isn't to like throw shade at anybody or anything like that, it's just being completely honest, was that Angelo, Ryan, and myself, like we became a real team, like halfway through that tour, 2-3 weeks into that tour, we just became a real team as far as like problem solving and figuring out how we were going to make things happen, or things we weren't going to do, so it was different. But I would say that the tour started off really fun. It got really difficult for about 2 weeks. And then after that, it was like unfucking real after that.
I mean, dude, we got slammed too. My grandfather died a week and a half in.
Yeah.
So I ended up teaching, but it's a fine teaching. We were lucky enough to have somebody help us out. And I got on a plane and flew home, and then I flew, I did the service, and I ended up staying a day later because my flight got delayed. So like the funeral was Wednesday. I got in Tuesday at 10. And I just didn't get to see my family. You know what I mean? Like I just like it just sucked, and the whole situation blew. So I fly home. Fly back in San Antonio, and then it's just you pick up where you left off. and you're just like, you know, you really don't have that much time to really deal with anything when you're like trying to do it. And my big thing was, it's like, dude, like, you know, I have to come home. I have to be with my family. I'm like, but these guys are family. Like, I got to go back. Like, we made a thing where we're supposed to be out. I'm going back. But like, you know, there's so many times where I was just like by myself that I'm just like, oh God, what did I go home to do? Did that really happen? You're like looking at pictures from the funeral. You're like, oh my God, he really died. Like, I really flew home and ran and did that. And, you know, I think, you know, a lot of us, excuse me, I think a lot of us learned a lot from this in the sense of like, dude, going out and not being able to touch home base like we did the first time, it's such an eye-opening experience because you start slowly realizing that a lot of comforts from home too, just they don't come with you on the road, which of course, you know, but like once they're like realistically, like, you know, dude, there were so many nights where we fucking had to figure out sleeping arrangements. And, you know, some days, so I mean, we both got sick and you have to be sick in the car. I had to be sad in the car while we drove to Texas when they dropped me off in Tallahassee, and you're trying to process a death, but also somebody's playing Mario Kart to your left. So you're not really paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have no real personal space. And if you do, it's 10 minutes in between like a sound check or something like that. So, you know, you really too, it's such a learning curve, but again, it's still one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah. It was really after those, you know, the initial 2-3 weeks, like after that, even when we were still in the SUV, like everything started to kind of find its way of working. But that's a big thing that Ryan touched on, was the time factor. Like, there's no time. There isn't, you know, it's not like, I love it whenever like somebody I work with or somebody, you know, you work with or whatever, Ryan, like, will be like, so what's it like on tour? Just like fucking partying, bro. Like, you know, this whole
no,
version.
not at all.
It's literally, I'll tell you what it's like. It's Angelo passed out in the back seat, or Ryan passed out in the back seat, or me, one of us driving, the other one navigating, and me fried out on nicotine and caffeine, like, just like, holy fuck, I need sleep right now. And then getting to the venue and being like, hey boys, you got sound check in 5 minutes. You got to unload and drop that trailer. All right, run, rush and do it. Like, it is constant, and it doesn't stop until the trailer is loaded up. Then it stops, you know, like, it's very hard to stay in touch with people. It's difficult, but again, I love it though at the same time. So
yeah. Well, again, go ahead.
Oh, good.
No,
I was gonna say, I remember one of the first times where me, you, and Ange, we sat down and we ate together.
Yeah.
It's like
this is
4
nice.
weeks in.
This is
it's
nice.
like 4 weeks in, and like we're like, and it's funny because you think we'd be like, how lovely, and we're all just like,
yeah,
that was it. Because it's like we finally had a minute to just sit down and relax.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, it's one of those things, like, you guys earned everything along the way. I mean, let's address the elephant in the room. I mean, University Drive came back off tour, a different band.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it up because I know you've done other interviews with other people, and you've addressed it. I want to preface it by saying that, you know, we'll talk about a member change or member, you know, preface it by saying that I don't want, not that you guys are going to do this, but this is a personal thing for me. You know, I know Steve, the old drummer, Steve Martin. I know his wife, Brittany. They've always been, you know, super great to me. You know, Brittany's a sweetheart. Steve is always respectful to me too. Not that we're going to get into a shit talking session by any means. No, I'm just preface. I don't want.
Yeah.
And he's not here to defend himself, so he's not here to talk about. So, Steve, if you're listening to this and you want to talk, we can do that. But University Drive came back from tour, a different band.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did that all play out?
Well, basically what had happened was, I mean, within reason, was that things just the road's hard, man.
Mhm.
You know, that's really what happened is the road is very hard, and, you know, money gets tight out there, and it could get a little scary. And when we were playing these shows and things were going on, and I think Steve was just in a place where it kind of became a little too much for him, you know, like that's essentially what had happened. Like a lot of the things that you're used to were like I said earlier, like going out for a week or two, you know, it's one thing, but when you're traveling around in a car with three other dudes for an extended period of time, and you don't have any time to yourself, and you know you have to lug your equipment everywhere. Like, we don't have roadies. I mean, we were super grateful to have, you know, Ryan Williams and Darren Fernandez like helping us out when they could, but for the most part it's completely us, you know, running every single night, and there aren't a lot of breaks. So I just think like the constant pressure of everything just got to Steve. And once we had gotten to Arizona, he made it pretty clear that, you know, he was going to go home at the whiskey, like that. He was done by the whiskey. And then he, you know, in Anaheim, California, he decided to leave a little early at the House of Blues. So that's,
I think he had work. He had a 3-day drive, and he had work to, like, he had started, I believe he started a new job. And, you know, I think with all of us too, I mean, I have zero animosity in any sense of it. It just, dude, it gets rough.
Yeah.
It gets rough, man. And, you know, I really do care about Steve in every sense. And it just said, I think when we finally, I don't know, it just didn't play out the way it worked. I mean, starting a new job on the road sucks. We didn't have internet connection because he was going to do like a remote position. We couldn't connection. We couldn't get set up. God forbid it was the loudest thing in the car because, you know, we're all trying to stay awake. I think it, dude, to be honest with you, I think it does suck. It's not an easy thing to do, and I think it sucks to do this.
Well, you said before,
You know
it's
I mean?
like things become real. Like things that, like, you know, you think of in your head that, you know, it might be like this, but you're not sure. Like, it becomes real.
right.
And it's like you decide, like, is this for you?
Mm-hmm.
Is this not for you? And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. And you want to know what? It's, I mean, if you've noticed over the course of the 7 years, you know, that this band's been around, like, or, you know, most of the bands that I've been in, most of the bands most people locally have been in, it's very, very rare that members stay. Even, you know, people who consider each other brothers or sisters, you know, in projects, because a lot of reality sets in different ways for people, and priorities, you know, change for people. And that's not to crucify anybody or anything like that. It's, you know, everybody has their personal priorities and that's what's important, you know. But what was most important was making sure that tour got completed, you know, like that above everything else. Like, that's what needed to happen. That tour we needed to take that tour to the finish line for 1,000 reasons. It's really the whole situation there is it's just sad, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
So were you in jeopardy of not finishing?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't want to go into all that, but there was definite fear of it not working out, and, you know, we ended up turning things around quite a lot. But yeah, it was.
And let me
figured
add,
it out.
Let me add one other thing too, to just kind of throw in something too, because like I don't, like, the other thing I don't want to be misconstrued in all of it too is like that man played such a big role in this band,
enormous,
for, you know, for such a long time, and is such a good friend, and you know, I can't really thank him. Brittany, especially him and Brittany, turned their house into a sweatshop.
Yeah.
Like, to help us out and help us with merch and all this stuff. So I don't want any of that to get mistranslated either, in the sense of like, dude, some things just don't work out. But like, for everybody in this band is in debt to how much they all put into this project too.
Right.
And like, again, like I said too, the thing to follow up with is, you know, we kind of just had to put our head down and really figure out how to get home. I mean, there was a long period too where I remember Ed and I would sit we'd have like a daily cup of coffee and go, "We going home today? How's it looking? You think we're gonna go home?" And we would just do that. And it, it was about perseverance and we got lucky. We got, I don't know. We busted our ass. We really did. We wanted to make it all the way around. Yep. And plus gas, Johnny, gas is fucking $8. We were getting 11 miles per gallon.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was on the good end. And then, so when you're going through the desert, which I never did the math, if you're going through the desert and there's only one gas station for 50 miles, they can charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember we stopped and it was, what was it? Was it $9?
Yeah. It was so bad, dude. It got to a point like, I mean, not that any of that stuff was, we knew that going in, that especially with the gas prices hiking up and everything, we knew it was going to be bad, but that was like, wow, this is really bad.
Yeah.
So it is what it is though, as far as all that stuff, the one thing like Ryan said is, I'm eternally grateful to everything Steve brought to the band. And I mean, as far as Clear would not be the record it was without Steve's involvement, like hands down, like that. Yeah. He's a big part of that. And same thing with Johnny too, because Johnny played on Clear, and even this new record, Steve plays on a lot of the songs. So, there's a piece of him in there. But, when all that stuff had kind of transpired and, Steve ended up having to go home, Tony, we at first were like,
I was gonna, how did you guys do it?
So at first it was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? And we were talking about possibly flying somebody in, and then we were like, we don't have any fucking money. How are we gonna do that? That's not gonna work. And we didn't even really want to ask Tony because Tony's already playing an hour and change every single night, with Cold, and that's exhausting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had asked him about it, and he couldn't be fucking kinder about it. And he was like, absolutely, I'll do whatever you need me to do. And he learned our songs in 7 hours, and we didn't have a sound check or anything. And we went out and we were like, well, I guess we'll see what happens at this venue called Brick by Brick in San Diego. And, we walk out on stage and it's a packed fucking house, no sound check, never played together. And Tony came out like he had played with us for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
It was like outstanding moment. So, Tony just stepped up and, he expressed interest in being a part of the band, and we expressed interest in having him being a part of the band. And now Tony's in the band. So we're very grateful.
Yeah, there's special people that you come across, and I think Tony is definitely one of them.
For sure, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. It's impressive. Like, not that this, we're not an overly technical band, but we usually rarely play there's usually change-ups in there that would kind of screw you up.
Yeah.
And to go out and we never got the thing that's crazy about the Brick by Brick, but not to ramble, but we get there and we're supposed to do a sound check. They were like, everybody was willing to let us go, do a set sound check, do almost all the songs, because Tony never played with us. And he only had 7 hours to do it. So we get set up, and they run Brick by Brick like a ship. So they called for VIP for Cold. So Tony goes, guys, I gotta go. And then it ate up our whole time. So the first time we stepped on stage with him was the first time he played with us,
exactly.
Which is in front of a packed house. So I'm like, Tony, you know these songs? And he goes, yeah, I guess. Like, oh my God.
Sure.
So we go out and, we do, I remember doing Ending because that's what we were starting with. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, I could do this. And then we did the second one. I was like, okay, yeah, tempos are good. This is going good. And by the time we got to Only in the Way, which was our last song, I remember sitting there and I had held my breath almost the whole show, because I was like, something bad is going to happen, not because Tony's bad, just because this is ridiculous.
Right.
There's going to be a screw up that's going to make us stop. You know what I mean? There's going to have to be something so bad that we have to go, what happened? And we got to Only in the Way, and he hit and I went, and I just let out this huge breath of like, oh God, we're gonna do it. We're gonna actually get to the set. And then each show he would add another song into the set.
Yeah.
You know, our first set was probably like what, 5 songs, Eddie?
5, 6 songs, something like that.
And then, you know, by the end of the tour, we're doing 8
Yeah.
or 9. And Tony every night would go, I'm ready for this one. I'm ready to do this song. We're like, oh, you sure? He'd go up, sound check it. He'd kill it. If he didn't,
then,
if something happened, he'd ask you a question and then he'd fix it and you're done.
And then, you know, keep in mind too, like we would get done playing, like, because our sets are relatively, you know, like intense. Like it's not, there's very few moments outside of Shoreline when I would play it alone where the set is like breezy and kind of laid back. You know, everything is very just in your face. And Tony would do that for 45 minutes, take 10 minutes to like get changed, and then go play for another hour and 10 minutes or hour and sometimes 20 minutes every single night. You know, every single night he did that. So, I mean, he's a machine. He's a fucking machine, man.
Yeah, and that's says a lot about Scooter. I know we said this before, but like for, you know, for him to be okay with like, yeah, like use my drummer, you know, burn him out before he gets to our set. Like,
unbelievable.
Don't worry about it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. Really, really unbelievable.
In fact, I think he was the one that pushed him.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was like, take Tony.
Yeah. he's not doing anything. Like,
yeah.
He's not busy.
It's great.
Well, man. I mean, you guys said you're the band who figures it out. So you definitely did that. Yeah, I saw pictures when you guys were out on tour, and you know, I followed you guys along the way because obviously I couldn't be there, but and I saw you guys with pictures of you know, Johnny and Tony. I'm like, oh yeah, they're just hanging out, and this is a cool picture that they're doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, they came back a different band. But so you're back from tour, and you have this big release album release party rather at the River Street Jazz Cafe for the album that is called Heal.
Yep.
And I saw Ed, I texted you when I saw it released, or maybe the day after, but I was like, everything about the show on the 26th, correct?
Yes, sir.
Jazz Cafe, August 26th. It's in Plains. I mean, the lineup is one of the sickest lineups that I've seen this year. You know, you have Estacota, which is, I mean, you know, those guys are incredible.
Hell yeah.
You know, James Barrett, you know, by the time this posts, he'll have completed his Good Things Are Happening.
Yeah.
Granton. So
yeah, which is insane.
Yeah, that's a great thing too. But so Estacota, James Barrett, Retrovi, obviously, Ron will be pulling double duty that night because that's what he does. But what a great lineup! Even the artwork for the flyer on social media.
Let me just say, Stokes killed that flyer. That flyer looks so good. Amanda Stokes. If you need anything, go to Stokes. She'll do it, and she'll do it amazing.
Well, between the lineup and then the UFO and like I had just got a UFO tattoo, like,
oh sweet,
like I don't know if you can get it in there, but it's abducting a dinosaur.
It's awesome.
How did I get in there? Jesus Christ,
that's cool.
What is this? So I just love everything about it.
You gotta fix your arm, dude. You're like, yo, it's
I don't. It's like opposite. I'm like dancing here, like whatever. If you're listening to this on Spotify, whatever, do not don't go and watch the video. But yeah, so I mean, how did all this come together, and you know, what can we expect, and you know, we'll wrap things up here for you.
Well, as far as Wilco is making an appearance in the. All
right, so if you're listening, only jump in the video now to see Ed's dog.
Yeah, he's very cute. So originally we had the album release planned way earlier. For June, we were going to try to have like we're just going to try to have the record ready and all this stuff, and it all kind of fell out from underneath us, and it kind of put us in a better spot actually. So where we landed was the Jazz Cafe, which is such a it's just such a great venue, man. Like the sound is great there. The vibe is great. The people who run it are great. The food is great. Like it's a great place to just see a show. And my whole goal, as far as setting up that show, my whole goal with setting up this show is, I just want it to be a real event for people. I don't want it to just be, like about us. I want it to truly be like a party, an actual party. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We have this record done, and we slaved away at it for a long time and really made sure that we were doing at least, if not besting the last two records, at least putting forth the very best that we had to deliver. And I'm really excited to be able to finally celebrate this record being done and being finished and out in the world. And we have a really crazy set planned. Not so much as far as all the new songs we're playing. We are playing new songs, but it's anybody who's kind of been with us for the past 7 years, I think, would really enjoy the set that we're going to play.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm actually paying it forward. My wife is like, "Hey, do you mind if I go to dinner with my friends on Saturday?" I have 2 kids now.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. The one will be.
Oh yeah, congrats, brother.
She'll be 4 weeks old by the time this podcast goes up. But she's like, "Do you mind if I go to dinner with my friends?" I'm like, No, go. Guess what? August 26th, I'm cashing in.
That's right, cash in those chips,
Dude,
man.
I'm so excited, man. I'm like, it's something I like. I always think of myself as new to the band, but I started doing this record with Eddie 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I started doing it in November of 2020. So it's like, it's exciting for me. It's kind of cool to be a part of this band for, a period. Now there's something with me on it, and having something to be about it. And I'm excited to play double duty. I love playing with the Retro Vibe boys. So I get to open the night and then just kind of get to watch the set and enjoy. And then, we're murdering each other at this practice for this show. I mean, we are just running the set over and over and over and over again. So we're going to try to be as tight as possible.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, I'm excited for the album release. Clear was a spectacular album.
Thanks,
that came from, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to say a dark place, but maybe a dark place.
Yeah, no, totally did.
But it was cool to be part of that album with some of the in between songs. We had people kind of talk about, what death meant to them. Sadly, your mom passed away, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still sorry that happened to you. It's not an easy thing to go through, but through things like that, I think other great things are born, and obviously your music has been able to, be an escape for you and an outlet for you, and all the listeners have been able to benefit from that. So thank you for writing great music and pushing through everything, whether it's and Ryan, you mentioned you lost a member of your family too. Like, obviously it's not easy. You guys, life's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably easier than ever, right? Life in general. I mean, we have technology and we have all these things at our fingertips to help us. We can order groceries delivered to our homes, but like life is still like so hard in that, like, we're going through pandemics and, just today's the August 4th, and the Biden administration announced that monkeypox is a what do you call it?
What are you gonna say? Because I don't know the answer to this yet.
Oh, it's like
What
it's like a legit like a public health emergency.
Wow.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
That's funny because I apparently I've been living under a rock because my girlfriend Kelsey was talking to me about it. I go, hey, it's probably a TikTok disease, you loser. I just like completely like I didn't even hear of it. Like I would hear it in passing, but I didn't know it's legit.
It's so I just
What
actually
happened?
so I posted on Facebook today because I was like, something's funny here. It's not funny, but so let me get the I took the words exactly from the report. It came from like CNN, I believe. The Biden administration declares the monkeypox outbreak is a public health emergency. Um, and I thought to myself, 6 or 7 months ago, back in January of this year, there was a truck carrying lab monkeys
Yep, I remember this.
that I don't know if it crashed or whatever, but monkeys had escaped around the Danville, Pennsylvania area. And the ones that they could not recapture, they ended up euthanizing. So it's like,
I remember that.
and now, 7 months later, here we are, and monkeypox is a real thing.
Of course it is.
I mean, it's always been a real thing, but it's just, I'm not saying that they're both related, but.
So wait, can I ask
the
a
monkey
dumb
fits. I don't know.
non-medical? And not dumb doesn't know anything about medical anything. I couldn't tell you what Benadryl does.
Neither do
That's
I.
how
So
this is.
it's-
Okay.
I'm the wrong guy to
This
ask,
is
but
like,
go ahead.
I have no clue. I don't know medicine. I don't know what it is. So chicken pox, right?
But
Does
one,
that come from a chicken?
Uh,
Does anybody know that science?
we
That
could
from-
definitely, I mean, we probably should know this. I mean, like, but
not go down this road, boys. Y'all find out how stupid I really am.
yeah, and I don't want
Dude,
to do
did that come
I'm-
from?
I'm-
Did that come from? Hold on, I'm gonna go off camera and try to go. Did that come from a a good chicken? I can't tell.
that wasn't bad.
Thanks, man.
I actually had to look. I actually Googled before I made the post on Facebook. So I'm like, I want to make sure that this actually came from monkeys.
Did it?
Yeah. I forget the exact thing. I don't want to get into it, but I just thought it was interesting that today that got announced, and we did have that little scare. Like, why are monkeys from the lab being transported? I don't know.
So crazy.
And why? And I mean, think about it. Like, they're like, we're so concerned about these monkeys, like we have to kill them
Right.
because they can't get
Right.
away. Like we'll be fucked.
What if they knew like Victoria's Secret? Oh, go ahead. What's up?
No, I was just gonna say, do you guys ever just feel like you're in like a really stupid movie? Like that's all this, like the past couple of years have just felt like I'm in a really dumb movie. That's all I could say. Like a heartbreaking, like awful, so much tragedy through all of it, but like just circumstantially, I'm just like, this is such a bad movie.
It's
Like
not
when
fun.
You're watching a movie and then like halfway through you just go, "This guy can't catch a fucking break."
Yep.
Yeah, that's what this
Like-
the past 2 years have been. It's just like like I said, like life is so easy, but yeah, it's just so I feel like it's hard. It's like being a parent. I'm not trying to get on a soapbox here, but I mean, like being a parent, being worried about your children, and not knowing what COVID does and what COVID can do long term. And now there's monkeypox, and I just looked it up. The virus was first identified.
Yeah, dude, it's scary.
It was first identified in captive monkeys in West Africa, rainforest regions of Central and West Africa. So yeah, I mean, it was found in monkeys. I think that's where it got its name from. But it just it's funny because like maybe 2 months ago, I'm like to my wife, I said, "Should we be worried about monkeypox?" And she's like, "No, like get out of here."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You said the same fucking thing about COVID."
Mhm. And
Let
I
me-
said
let
the
me
same
add
thing
something.
about COVID too, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me add something. Does this disease
Which
what
one?
does it do to you?
Which one?
This new one. This
Monkeypox?
This new pox, dude.
I mean, I've seen
Monkey 2 pox, dude. What does it do?
I've seen pictures. It looks similar to like lesions or whatever on the body. Symptoms include fever, muscle aches, headaches, swollen lymph nodes. I guess it's like anything else.
So it's kind of like a really bad chicken pox, then, right?
Yeah, rash, fever, chills, body ache. But
Have either of you gentlemen had the chicken version of this?
I had chicken pox when I was
Yeah.
very young. Yes.
Yep.
Did you? I never had it.
Yeah, I had it. I mean, it looks very similar to that from the pictures I could see on online here. Maybe a little bit creepier. Then again, I don't remember exactly what chicken pox. It looks very similar, but I don't know, the Biden administration, take it for what it's worth from that group.
Yeah.
Don't want to get into a political thing here.
Yeah.
I did vote for Biden. Not really happy about it, but it is what it is. But yeah, so we're on to the next thing to be worried about.
Yeah.
Can't wait, man. I'm like the worst person. I think I got COVID like 3 times.
I had it once, confirmed.
Once for me.
And I mean, honestly, it was so mild. Thankfully, like I had it, my wife had it, and my son had it. It's before our daughter was born. We were in Disney, and I had like allergy-like symptoms, and I have allergies, and I wouldn't have even tested. But we were going to see my in-laws, her parents. We had been traveling. We just tested just for shits and giggles, and sure shit, it came back positive. And it's like, fuck.
When I got it, it was crazy because I had been sick prior, and I was sick as a fucking dog, man. And I was not COVID positive. It was just a flu. I just had a or whatever. I just had something really nasty for like 2 weeks that I couldn't fucking shake. And then when I got COVID, I remember it was so bizarre because it was my back. And Ryan, I think you say your back, you got it, right? My lower back was like on fucking fire. I couldn't sit up straight. And then I was blocked up real bad for 2 days. And after that, I was just fine. But I was contagious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 21 days off work.
From COVID?
Like, the first time I got it, I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of my bed. My back hurt so bad.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just stuck to my room. I just was stuck in my room. I got inebriated because there was nothing I could do. So I got a little messed up, and I watched Cars 1, 2, and 3.
Wow.
Let me tell you, they kill one of the cars in Cars 2. And I was so messed up that I audibly went, dude, they blow this dude up.
Oh,
they like put water in his engine. I was like, what are you people doing? They took my boy
fucking torture,
and they just fucking started pouring water. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's torture shit right there.
Yeah, my friend Little Claw came by and made the movie a little more realistic. So,
have you guys?
Listen, I really
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I appreciate you having us on.
Oh, well, I appreciate you guys doing this. This is actually a really great conversation. It was nice to talk about the band and the struggles because I don't think people really appreciate. It's like, oh yeah, they have money, they're getting paid to do these gigs, and like no big deal. But it's like, no, it's not like that at all. They're sleeping outside Wendy's and paying $8 a gallon for gas that gets them 11 miles to the gallon. It's just like.
It's a big labor of love, John.
Yeah, of course.
It's a labor of love, and the point at the end of the day, like I used to say it when I was younger a lot. I always try to drive this point home whenever I talk about it. But when I was younger, I was so concerned with like making it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we have to make it, and this has to be the thing, and it has to be our career and all that stuff, and it's all that pressure that I used to put on myself, and I know every other band I think does the same thing. It negates it kind of just puts a brick wall in front of like the potential of everything because you're so concerned with this one thing that you can't like really put yourself in the love of all of it, as hippy dippy as all that shit sounds.
Yeah.
But the moment that you kind of take expectation out of it and you're just doing it solely for the reason of, I love to do this. I love to sit and work on music, and I love to be on a stage with my friends playing music. I love the people I meet through the music and through the scene and the community that you build through it. Once you focus more on those things, all the other struggles and all the other, the sleeping in a pilot gas station and getting 2 hours of sleep and driving to the next gig and not being like, are we going to fucking make it? Like all of that shit, it seems like, yeah, really, whatever. Like we're doing what the fuck else would we be doing right now? Would we be in a fucking bowling league? You know what I mean? Like we're gonna do this thing that we love for no other, hopefully great things happen. Everybody wants great things to happen and the thing they're pursuing. But at the end of the day, if all it ever is, the 4 or 5 of us jumping into my whatever shitty vehicle I own at the time, having to camp out some pilots and play a couple shows here and there for people who connect to the music that we make, that's fucking gravy, man. But it is a lot of work. So,
well, it's funny too, because like you guys as individuals too, and I'm not saying this to blow anybody here. I'm not saying it because we're doing this podcast and I'm looking right in your eyes. I've said this from the minute that I've met basically every single one of you guys. Like, I mean, Ed, like you're the kindest person or one of the kindest people I've ever met. Ryan, I don't know where you get the energy, but I don't think I've ever seen a moment where you're not smiling. Angelo, again, he's a sweetheart. Steve, also a great guy. Like you guys, whenever I've met you, any interaction I've ever had with you has always been positive, healthy, fun, and like it's not a facade. It's not something you guys just do to like when you're in the moment and talking to people. It's just like who you guys are, and that's why I strongly feel that this is why you guys are at the level you're at. And I hope you guys get to the next level, because if anyone deserves it, it's definitely you guys.
Thanks for that, Johnny. Very much.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
Well, Heel comes out on the 20th. What's that?
No, you keep going. I fucked up here. Keep going.
What? No. What were you gonna say?
Put the book. No, slap the bookmark, because I was probably just gonna say something about Limp Bizkit for the 7,000th time.
I don't have time for that tonight.
I don't have time for it. No, I wasn't gonna, but I'm sure that's where it would have went. So
that was a great show.
You do you. I already fucked this up.
That was a great show. Limp Bizkit.
I know. I could not go to that show.
Oh, you missed it? That sucks. That was so fucking good.
I was on the road. And I tried bitching about it. One of my friends called me out there, like, "Oh, how sad you're traveling to the U.S. and playing shows and you can't see Limp Bizkit." I was like, "All right, fair point. Right, got it, understood."
Well, maybe we could talk to Scooter, because in the interview with Scooter, he's like, "Yeah, maybe we'll hook up with Limp Bizkit." And I said, "Yo, if you guys are doing that, I'm coming." He's like, "Yeah, you're in."
Fuck yeah.
Yes, him and Fred are very, very good friends. They came up together.
Yes.
So, Ryan, I'll get you in. Ryan, I'll get you in. I don't think you know anybody to get you yourself in, so I'll get you in. All right, I'll talk to Scooter. I'll get you in.
You and me. Me and you gotta go see this show.
Your bandwidth is low.
Yeah, I hurt my eye. That was for you.
All right. Well, Heel, it comes out the 26th, correct? The same day as the show.
So
no.
Oh,
okay.
Throwing curveballs.
Glad I asked.
Curveballs. That's what we do.
All right.
So what we're gonna do, and this is actually great that you bring this up. We're gonna kind of release it a week earlier digitally.
Ooh, okay.
So the record will be available on all streaming platforms on August 19th.
Okay, cool.
And before that, we should have another single out. So
very cool.
So it'll be available everywhere on the 19th. Let people get a little acquainted with some
taste.
of the new tunes. A little taste.
Yeah, a little taste. The tits.
The tits. And then on the 26th, we'll have some physical CDs available, and we're gonna do a short run of some shirts and stuff, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. The show, I mean, outside of University Drive being our show, like if that show is happening, Retrovi, James Barrett, Nest Dakota, like I'd be fucking thrilled just to see that. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be a really, really fun night.
Are tickets available for that now?
Yeah. There's a ticket link if you go to our event page, or if you go on our Instagram, or if you go to Facebook, wherever you go, it's through Eventbrite, and the pre-sales are the same price as the door. It's $12. Cool. So either way, I just wanted to set up the tickets for a lot of the a lot of the like cold fans that we met who are out of the area, who I know were a little nervous about the show selling out. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
It's possible.
The tickets are there for people, if they want to reserve them now or come on down, get them at the door.
Very cool. Yeah, what a lineup though. You said it. S. Dakota, James Barrett, Retrovi, University Drive.
It's gonna be
great.
Blast, dude. It's gonna be blast.
August 26th. Well, guys, thank you again so much. I wish you all the best. Hopefully I'll see you the 26th. If I'm there, we're doing photos in the green room. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you bet your ass.
I need content for my page.
Let's do it.
I'm very I'm an emotional man. I like to capture moments, so like it'll be just nice to hang out with you guys. And
absolutely, man, absolutely.
Dude, we'll take a Polaroid. I got a Polaroid camera when I was on tour. It's my favorite thing I bought.
All right, done. We'll take two, and then you can have one.
We'll
I
take
can
a
have
quick, good snapshot.
and you can sign it
Oh,
for me.
let's do that. I like that. That's a nice idea.
You can sign it
Won't
for
get
me.
away from me with that, but I'll definitely smile at you.
All right, just again, I'll
say whatever you want.
I got to pay it forward on Saturday with my wife. Let her do the dinner with friends and cash my chips in. That's how much you guys mean to me. I mean, I'm serious.
You mean a lot to me.
I'm serious. I'm like,
the feeling is completely mutual, John.
Yeah,
completely mutual, bro.
Yeah, it's dead mutual.
I might know something about those shirts too. And anyone listening or watching, you're gonna definitely want to grab one of those because they're very cool.
And there's only 100 of them.
Right.
Only.
And we're not making any more.
Ever. Never. Even if
you're hitting it on.
Even if you called me up and said you wanted more, I said nope.
Nope. Done.
No.
That's how it works, bud.
All right, guys.
Listen, thank you very much for having us, brother.
Getting late. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
All right, brother.
All right. Later, guys.
See ya.
See ya.